is Up for Grabs, a podcast where three unfiltered friends talk about anything and everything. And now, here are your hosts, Tracy, Kim, and Rachel.
Welcome to Up for Grabs. I'm Rachel here with my friends Kim.
Hello.
And Tracy.
Hello.
And this is an emergency meeting, an emergency podcast for Up for Grabs as we wanted to follow up with the arrest that was made in one of the two true crime podcasts that we have done. It's the Delphi Murders. And they had a press conference today, and we wanted to just kind of get everybody up to speed on what happens and what we think is going to happen next. And Tracy is our lead reporter on that. What you got, Tracy?
What I've got is they arrested 50-year-old Richard Allen for 2 counts of murder, being held without bond. They did say he was moved to a different location. They arrested him last Friday, and they moved him to a more secure location, I believe.
For his own safety.
Well, yeah, and people say for his own safety. I think they want to have a trial. They don't want someone to get to him before they find out more information. So, because there are people online, like I'm on several pages where they are talking, everyone's talking about this online. And people are upset that they are, quote, protecting him.
Yeah, but
what they are protecting him for is information. I don't think the big concern is his welfare. It's more they have to keep him alive to find out other information about the case so that they can proceed with it.
Do you think it also is kind of like a suicide watch?
I'm certain, just because, again, to protect the information. Yeah.
Like if they want the trial, then obviously they don't want him to hurt himself
right
before they can get everything out of him.
I agree. The press conference was very short, maybe 10 minutes. I know that you guys listened or watched. And some people are angry at the press conference, which, again, no one owes us anything. And we are speaking with zero authority on this matter, other than we are interested. We are parents and people of the community. It happened in our state. So we want to know what happened to these girls. And but other than that, all the details of the case, that's not our business, other than we want to know.
And we'll find that out.
And we will find that out
time.
As it happens. We know that he was arrested on Friday. I believe a warrant was served to his home on Thursday, where they searched, the search warrant. That's the information that I found so far. I laugh because I'm embarrassed to say that.
Yeah, he's local.
So here's that thought. He is local to the area. And I'm wondering, as a community member, some of the thoughts I've had are, do you think they are more upset that he's a local? Like, would you want it to be someone passing through, a random person? Because he worked so what we know so far is that he worked at the local CVS. Mm-hmm. I think he was a store manager, and in the past few years had become like a pharmaceutical tech or whatever. And I don't think there are only a couple of drugstores in Delphi. It is a very small town. I want to say like 1 or 2, according to what I found on the internet, which is not very many. Most people have to go to a pharmacy at some point. So did every single person in that town see him maybe once a month going to get the prescriptions?
Yeah.
Like, these are the thoughts that I have are, you're looking at him every day, not knowing. This happened, I think they said just shy of 6 years ago.
About 5.5. Yeah.
5.5. Okay. See, that doesn't even seem possible to me.
I know it. I can't wrap my head around it. I'm guessing law enforcement, especially, you'd have to be familiar with the area to. I always have kind of had an inkling that it was somebody that knew the surroundings.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never been to Delphi. I've never been to that bridge, but I've always felt like because it was staged, the murder,
the scene was
staged by the killer. The area, the bridge. I don't know. I just think it would be so weird if it was just some random.
You're not wrong. And I guess by some random, I thought I meant like you hear about these like trucker highway killers that are passing through and then they go about and they're out of the area. I guess I was kind of hopeful that it was it, because who wants to know that they're around? And now that I'm saying people being around, what I fear is going to happen is we are going to find out that there are more people involved. I don't see how he could have done this by himself with two girls that are able-bodied and out in the open. You know what I mean? Like, it only makes sense that he didn't act alone.
I felt like they kind of alluded to that. And I talked to my husband, who's an attorney and who has in no way, shape, or form, he does collections.
Right.
So he doesn't do anything. But the fact that they sealed the affidavit, and that's very, very, very unusual. They did it obviously to protect themselves, but they pointed out several times at that press conference, our tip line is still open. Our tip line is still open. And that's highly unusual. If you feel like you have the killer, case is closed on your end, you're just not going to let the public. There's some, I 100% agree.
I still think it's a ring. I still think it's going to be bigger than we want it to be.
Yep.
I'm basing that again on no knowledge. Like, I have no information other than that is what I think is going to happen. Like the person that was contacting her through the fake Snapchat or whatever. Like, how does all of that tie into how do they know each other? The property owner where the bodies were found, who passed away, I think, in the past couple of years. How does he tie in? Like, does he tie in? I don't know. A lot of people on Facebook are speaking about this guy's wife and saying, why didn't she tell? How did she not know? I don't know if she knew or not. I don't know if she was complacent. You know, like, we don't know that. I was able to see her Facebook before it was taken down about 24 hours later from one of the groups that I was in. Somebody linked it, and did I go
You were
look?
one of the best Facebook stalkers I've ever met.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I do take pride in that. And there was a period, she was very active up until a couple weeks before, and then there was no activity for about a year on her Facebook, and then she was very active again. So I don't know if she was locked down during that period and had a privacy setting, so there's stuff there that we couldn't see, or if she deleted things, or if she just wasn't on there for a year. But her Facebook activity, that is unusual for that year, because the years leading up to it, she was a regular poster. And the year after, after a year passed, she was a regular poster. And there were pictures of him, like, just living his life afterwards, which was difficult to see. Someone shared a photo that didn't come from that page, but came from a local pub's page, I think it was. And they are saying that it's not doctored, and it appears to have been on that page from years ago. But it is a picture of he and his wife sitting like in a bar area. And behind them on the wall is the drawing of the person wanted in this case.
Good Lord.
You know, I saw that picture and I thought he was in his kitchen. I didn't realize he was in a bar.
Yeah, he was in a public place.
Okay.
And, some people are speculating, like, those posters are everywhere. He couldn't have had any pictures taken. That's probably true. I hope they are everywhere in that town. And it would be hard to have your picture taken anywhere with that one being there. But was he flaunting it? Like, was it a sign? I don't know. There's just...
people like that. How many serial killers lead normal lives? They can, for crying out loud, they can lead normal lives,
right?
Where someone would just be oblivious to. It's so scary.
And no one has stated that he is a serial killer yet.
I'm saying that.
So
I'm just saying murders
that being said, it doesn't make sense that this is a one and done.
Oh, absolutely
or two
not.
and done, since there were two girls there. Like, just none of it makes any sense. I think normally if someone kills one person, it's a crime of passion, or you know what I mean? Like,
motive. Yes.
Like, to me, yeah, there would be some sort of motive, but I can't imagine what that would be with these two young girls. So it doesn't make any, there's just so many more questions that I'm afraid people thought that there would be some answers from the press conference today. There were not answers. It was just an opportunity for law enforcement to say there has been an arrest made. I have a feeling that some of what they said, which was almost nothing, was coded talk for the people watching who might be involved.
Really?
There's always coded talk.
Is there coded talk?
Yes.
Now I want to rewatch and try to determine what I think it would have been coded.
They kept saying with the tip line. That I found very, very interesting.
And they did also keep saying, along with that, this is still an active investigation.
Yes, they did.
Yes.
Like, haha,
And they want
you're
more.
not done.
They need more. They know that they don't have everything they
No,
need. They had
the-
enough to arrest him. I mean, that's a fact. You know that.
I don't know. I know they said that the pretrial was going to be sometime in January and the trial would be in March, but let me tell you, the trial will not start in March. I mean, it will probably, get continued out, but at least, and I'm wondering when the pretrial happens, and I don't know enough about law, that at that time, would some of that stuff be unsealed where, we'd be able to find out what was in that affidavit?
Like just
At the pretrial, don't you think that they would have, I don't know.
well, yeah, just to know what led them to
What
him
led
after
them.
5 years
Yeah.
of
I
him
think
being
it's gonna be
right.
a tiny bit though.
Ooh,
I kind of hope it's his wife. I hope she dropped dime on him. And
Well, and they searched.
I don't know.
They searched a body of water. Wasn't that like the last big news lead?
Okay, so yes and no. There was a body of water search near the area, but no one specifically validated that that was for this case.
Okay.
That it has not been stated that search involved this case or that anything that was found pertained to the case. That being said, if you saw pictures of the area while it was being searched, there were 50 police cars.
And if it wasn't-
that's a whole lot of resources
Yeah.
for something that they're not telling us is happening.
And if it wasn't,
So
then
it was
they
a
could
fair
have
assumption.
They could have easily said this is unrelated to the case.
Right. And then maybe that was, again, speaking to the people like,
we're coming for you.
because when people get nervous, they make mistakes, and that's how they're going to catch the other people are the mistakes.
Well, one thing that Kim was talking about, because the part of the press conference that I did see was talking about he'll be arraigned or something in January of 23, and then the trial will start in March of 23, and I just thought these poor families have
No.
and you're right, they'll take as long as they will drag this out, especially since he entered a not guilty plea. They're going to drag this out. And I just feel so horribly. I mean, I'm sure there's a part of them that feels relieved just to know that law enforcement stayed on a case that was 5 years old. That's one
Absolutely.
thing. And B, to actually finally get enough evidence to arrest someone. That has to make them feel sort of good. But I'm thinking the next couple of years, it's just going to be more heartache. I just find it's going to be hard.
It's going to be heartache forever. That's the facts of that case. Is they lost their kids in a very horrible way, and their lives are miserable from here on out. Probably. I think today was about some closure though for them.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's closure or a door opening to the next phase, whatever that is. I
Yeah.
guess. Part of the reason I think they had it, and again, speculation, is that, Doug Carter was crying. The state police superintendent.
He is a class act.
Talking about it. And he mentioned how several people had put off retirement on this case because they needed to get, I think some people needed to get to this point. So I won't be surprised I don't know if he will retire, maybe.
I bet he's haunted.
That would
yeah.
take a toll on your whole. And I thought it was the way he had the press conference at the exact church location when they announced that they had found the bodies.
Yeah.
And that, it meant something.
It was like a full circle moment.
It was a
for
full
all of
circle
them.
moment, exactly.
And obviously the families found out on Friday or Thursday,
Right.
the impending, although they have to be careful what they tell the families because again, they don't know who's all involved. And I'm in no way saying any family's involved, but you talk to one person and they tell one
Somebody
person
tells
and all
somebody.
of a sudden it gets,
Especially in a small town like Delphi.
yeah. Yep.
Here's a question I had. I was going to say, until Tracy brought up her theory, that the sketches, remember there were 2 sketches
Yeah.
and they don't look anything alike?
Correct.
That also now is leading me back to there had to have been more than one person involved. Because I'm like, there's no way that those 2 sketches were of the same person because they don't look anything alike. And even
They do, but they don't. I mean, they're both, because I'm looking at them right now, like they're
no,
both
one guy looks young and one guy looks old.
Okay, true. And what I'm wondering is, and again, all speculation, did the first person describe to the best of their ability, but it wasn't a good description? And then someone brought this guy forward as a suspect and said, we have a pretty good idea, but we don't have any material. And then the artist drew up his face and said, anybody seen this guy anywhere? Because they're looking, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it does kind of look like him, the older
It
sketch.
does resemble him a
So
little, yeah.
The fact that he was in a bar living his life with those sketches all around town, it must have looked like a bunch of people in Delphi, because he wasn't afraid to go out in public.
Well, it kind of looks like most 50-year-old men
does. Yeah, it
who
does.
are white and middle class.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a very average picture as far as there's not anything striking about it.
No.
That you would be, I would, like I was thinking today, I would love to hear his voice. Like
Yeah.
I would love for him to make a statement, just so you could hear his voice and see if that had any correlation to the voice that was recorded. I don't know.
And they haven't said that he is the
I
man on
know,
the bridge.
yeah.
So that could have been a different person.
Yeah.
That he was charged with murder, but we don't know. There
Yeah.
could be someone else who kidnapped them and took them to him. There's just so many unanswered questions.
Well, the good news is, if they truly have evidence enough to arrest him, they're leaning on him and just say, we'll be nicer to you if you just give up every single person that had anything to do with this.
Right.
And why would he care?
Well,
to protect them.
He's going to have some sort of conscience, something happening with his conscience, because otherwise there would be no reason for him to tell they're not going to give him a good deal. You know what I mean? Like, there's no good deal in this for him.
Right.
Maybe they would make a deal where his, I think he has one daughter. I'm not sure if he has more kids than that, where his wife and one daughter could be put in witness protection and moved somewhere. Maybe that could be a reason for him to do
And I
something
think
right. I don't know
how deep, I'm not diagnosing him with anything, but how deep his psychopathic tendencies, if he does, some people like this, they don't care.
They take it to their grave.
They take it to their grave. They're not going to, they benefit in no way.
Right.
They like the allure of, I'm going to keep this a secret.
Yeah.
Was
he part of a ring? And they said, and they all had a pact. If anyone gets caught and you talk, we're killing your family. I mean, you
those, have no
those
idea.
Things are so crazy. I guess the part that gets me is that it's so, there's so many unknowns. That's what we're waiting on. There's more answers.
I did want to also ask, I did hear I thought it was very ironic that he had a daughter.
Yes.
Ew.
Correct.
Okay.
We feel the same way on that.
Okay.
Was she a classmate? Did she know them? I don't know how old she is, but he's 50. So he's our age,
Yeah.
a few years younger. So that would make her, the same age.
Right.
The kid's the same age.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to keep this conversation open. I think that we'll probably, I don't know if we'll learn anything in the next couple months,
Yeah.
but we will keep our eye on it and give everybody updates as we learn and you learn. Also, I wanted to also remind people the next podcast, we are going to talk about Colleen Hoover's book, Verity. So if you have not started reading, please read. And we will discuss that on the next podcast. Anything else that we need to do to wrap up?
I just wanted to give a shout out to the Indiana State Police, the county sheriff's office, and all the people that have worked so hard all these years on it.
Absolutely.
And the media for keeping it in the attention of the people who helped find him.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this brief update. We hope you'll come back and join us again on Up for Grabs. Thanks.